Hi everyone and welcome to your weekly unconditional love, masculine, feminine, twin flame messages for the week of October the 8th through. I wanted to set the intention today. I was drawn to these crystals for loving communication. Well, loving communication was kind of what came to mind first, and then I'm always the rose quartz kind of fan. I have been since I remember, and I was thinking about that, and then this lapis angel that I've had for a while, and then I was thinking about the qualities of this, and it's blue, so that's the throat chakra, and that is communication, amongst other things. So it's like loving communication, and I kind of felt like I wanted to have that intention today. I've had a bit of a cold, so I'm going to try and speak as clearly as possible. Yeah, I've been shuffling for a little while, and let's see which messages want to come out. I mean, the crystals already seem to have a bit of a message about that loving communication. So it's being able to communicate from a loving, higher place. We can kind of say that the angel is, you know, a high vibration to be in, and angels are messengers of God. So if we can identify ourselves as messengers of God every time we speak to another, then loving communication is going to be what we communicate, what comes out of our mouths. Or, you know, our being and our doing, the things that we do. Loving communication in spoken word and in action. So I think that's pretty beautiful message that's already coming through. A little bit more shuffling, and then I shall get the cards out. So it seems ready. Using my new cards for this weekly, the same cards but a new set. So I do feel as though October is feeling like a very, very different energy, and I hope that everybody is kind of in it because it feels a lot clearer. I think August and September were kind of a bit up and down, a bit difficult and challenging for lots of people. And October feels clearer. But for this week, the message that we have from the bottom of the deck is the Hanged Man. So, what does this mean? This is a delay. I'm going to take this as this is a delay in loving communication. It doesn't mean that the communication isn't there, that the love isn't there. It's that patience is needed and more information is needed, or again, as kind of happened this week with me, this feels like it's about divine timing. So I want to talk about divine timing. Every single thing is connected. Life itself is a jigsaw puzzle. It's a jigsaw puzzle that always fits together but is constantly moving. This is how I perceive it. This is how I perceive it. This isn't anything that I've learned. It's what I see. And so the way that it works is, it is paradox. On the one hand, we have no control, and on the other hand, we have complete control. That seems like it's impossible, but this is the way that it goes. We have complete control over our perspective of a situation. We have complete control over the way that we feel, and to a certain extent over our experience, because our experience is so much based upon how we feel and our thoughts and our perspectives that create our reality. But then on the other hand, as I said, life is connected, and to a pretty large extent, we are being moved by a collective truth, a collective movement. And so every time you think you're doing something, because our consciousness is not only one stream, because we're all connected and we're essentially all psychic, you're picking up on kind of like radio stations. It's a bit like there's loads of radio stations and radio waves, and you're kind of like picking up on them, and they are making you do things. When you become conscious of that, you become consciously intuitive. But it's happening all the time. Right, so how does this hook up to divine timing in terms of love, relationships, or things that we want to happen, maybe even career or anything? How does it occur within these unconditional life dynamics? It's that they're twofold. Firstly, life will not let you do anything that isn't unconditionally loving for yourself and another when you step into the unconditional love arena. So if you have a fear-based belief or a fear-based belief that's driving your actions, if you want to be around somebody because you're afraid of losing them, consciously or unconsciously, it won't work out. Once you're on the path of unconditional love, only unconditional love will work, quote unquote, will be the easiest way. It's not the most simple to get to, but it's the path of least resistance. So it's kind of like divine timing will have its way with you. You will live in love. It will push you to learn about unconditional love and how to live that way. But there is also something different. Once you are in alignment with that unconditional love, when you surrender your will to life, there are other things that need to line up or that have priority. When you surrender to your intuition, when you surrender your will, when you say, I am a vessel for love, that's all. That's my motivation. You get used to do good work. And that might not necessarily be what you want. You will be gifted in return. But it's not because you're not loving that you're not getting what you want. I want to say that again. It's not because you're not being loving that you're not getting what you want. It's not true that when I become high vibe and unconditionally loving, then it's all going to be plain sailing. Because life just isn't that simple. You become a vehicle. I call it like a stem cell because it's a bit like when you release resistance, you get used. So life's going to say, no, you don't get to go on vacation for a weekend. You get to do this because that's the best use of you. And you become of service to the collective in love. And so you will always have what you need consciously. If you're able to, your conscious awareness expands. You will know that you always have what you need, but you won't necessarily always get what you want. But what I want to kind of gift everybody with is that if things aren't working out the way you want them to, it doesn't mean that you're getting anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you're not being loving enough, or you're not being open enough, or you're not surrendering enough. That's a very ego-based attitude. It's because I didn't do something. I. That there is a true aspect to that, but equally there is the other. There is the opposite that is driving. And so really this week, it's about ultimately surrendering to the other, to the timing beyond what we can do, not trying so hard, taking a rest, chilling out, just allowing life to do the work, because life has a much vaster, infinite intelligence than you, because it is able to see multiple perspectives and multiple timelines. Life itself, and kind of like God itself, is an infinite perspective. It knows everything from every single angle, and so it will drive to, it's a bit like the human body. It knows how to protect itself, you know. It's not going to listen. The little finger might want to like climb the mountain, but if the knee's broken, then, you know, the body isn't going to do it because the little finger says so, you know. So it's just, but the gift I want to give you, try and communicate, the loving communication that I want to give you, is that take that time to just look at things from a different perspective. The Hanged Man is about finding grace. He has a halo, the Hanged Man. There's grace in this uncomfortable, opposite seeming perspective to the one that you want. It's upside down. It's upside down. It's not how I want to be. It's not comfortable. But there is so much to learn, and there's grace. Grace is the word that I have. There's grace in this, in the surrender to what is happening, and uncomfortable emotions. It kind of represents to me uncomfortable emotions. It's just saying, just be in some of those. Don't try and transcend it. Seek the gift within. Seek the halo. Seek the grace. Seek the enlightenment and understanding within the uncomfortable emotions that you might be trying to get away from by trying to get what you want. If this person did this, if he or she was in my life right now, then I wouldn't have this problem. I wouldn't be feeling this way. So let's just do that, or want that, to make this go away. And it's saying stay in that. Just be in it. I'm not saying it's not comfortable. It doesn't look comfortable to be hung upside down like that. But there is a golden lining, a halo there. So it's very important. So, moving on to the rest. Hi, beautiful. So check out this week's masculine feminine reading, because it is all about divine timing. How do we navigate it? What do we do? Check it out. Loads of love. Hey, so these Journey of Love Oracle cards, these have been really kind of like calling to me. So I want to just do one card as an extra for this week, little message. And just to say thanks, you know, for you guys. Here it is. This is the one for you. For you that choose. For you that choose to be here and decide to be here. And thank you. Just looking at this card, I mean, it's absolutely stunning. I mean, my golly gosh. I wish that you could see it. It's a bit like when you see a sunset and then you take a photo. It's just not the same. I just can't get the picture good enough to get the colours, because it's like it's so deep, this blue, and it just doesn't look the same on the camera. And also this figure here. But it's number 37, Fire and Ice. I mean, wow, it's just a stunning card. And I'm just going to read from the book for you. I'm glad it's just one, because I'm not sure my voice can do much more. I've been really enjoying this cold that I've had. I have a very, very strong immune system, and I know exactly, you know, but sometimes I'm aware that I kind of like choose. I just know, like I get like I shared about the divine timing. It's just things happen because they need to happen. You know. It is true that you kind of like, you know, if you're, you know, I was feeling resistant for sure. I wasn't flowing in the highest vibe, and yet there's nothing wrong with that. So I can notice, wow, I'm created this, but I don't go, gosh, I created this illness. I shouldn't do that. I just say, oh, that's interesting. I created this, and then I let it happen. I really don't resist it. And then you have this kind of enjoy, and because I haven't really had a cold I don't really remember what it's like. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, you know. It's not great, but and everything's just always working out. It just is. Anyway, just another bit of thing there. Fire and Ice, number 37. So I'm just going to read this through. You are learning to hold the tension of opposites, of those things that don't immediately seem to go together within your being, without collapsing into confusion, judgment, or denial. There is passion and serenity, creation and destruction, new life and death emerging within you, within your relationships. Sometimes this is hard to handle. We want to make things simpler, to just let go of the conflict and complexity and choose one or the other. You are a grand enough soul to be able to withstand the rigors of depth, to go deep, to live fully, to let the divine have its way through you requires a willingness to stand at the center of the pairs of opposites and eventually know that they are connected to each other and that they exist only in relationship to each other, to breathe and simply be. If you are consciously feeling the conflict in your life, internally or externally, then you are being initiated through fire and ice. Stay present, be patient, and wait. There is nothing to fix here, just awareness to step into as divine creation continues to unfold through you. As you master this initiation, you will find a sweet nectar of bliss dripping within. This oracle brings you guidance that the conflict you feel within or externally is a sign of your spiritual growth. Soon you will grow larger than the conflict, but for now you do not need to engage in it, simply to be present to it and allow it to work its way through you, until you are strong enough to have outgrown the conflict, giving rise to a clear direction. It may seem impossible, beloved, but it is not. You are a vast being. Give yourself a chance to realize this and have patience. All is becoming, including you, according to the perfection of divine design. This oracle brings specific guidance on any relationship matter requiring a decision. Until you have simple clarity in your heart, beyond the pushing away and pulling closer, then it is time to wait, for there is more yet to be revealed. Only when your heart speaks clearly, then you will do well to act as feels truthful for you. There is a beautiful silence now, as I hold your hands and listen to your eyes across a span of moments called time. There are no words that say as much, nor walls that could confine the wings of our feelings or the rhythm of our eyes. Thanks very much.